Hi, Mike's Carburetor Parts. I'm working on a 68 or later 2-jet carburetor, and I want to show you how the choke works on this. I know it's a 68 or later because it's got the carburetor number stamped right here next to the fuel inlet. This is what you use to put in our search box, that number, and it'll come up with the correct kit for you, along with some other parts possibly. So what we're talking about here is this choke valve. When it's cold, it needs to be closed or close to close. It's never completely closed, to allow more fuel into the intake and less air. Okay, if it was left open all the time, it'd be too much air when it's cold, and it would die. All right, so it's all controlled by the thermostat. And whenever you're adjusting the thermostat, make sure you open the throttle a little bit. Otherwise, the fast idle cam might be impeding the choke valve from opening and closing. So what you do is you twist the thermostat. I'm using my screwdriver here to twist it just until it closes, and then give another 1/8 inch turn and tighten it down. Okay, so that puts a little bit of pressure on it here, and as it heats up, then, and to make sure your thermostat's working when it's cold, it should look like this. When it heats up, it should be all the way open. All right, so if it's not some of your part not hooked up right, or something, maybe your thermostat. Okay, so there you go. So along with this, let me tighten this down so it doesn't move on me. Okay, so we also have the pull-off or vacuum brake here, and at idle, this thing is pulled all the way back like so, and it'll make sure that this is open slightly. If not, it's going to choke it off, as you say. And then as you speed up, this loses vacuum, and you can see what it allows is it allows the rod here to move, open and close. So you open the throttle, you're speeding up, there's less vacuum, and you see here now mechanically the throttle valve down here pushes on the fast idle cam and opens up the choke, so that when you're going when you're powering up, you don't want it to choke out. You're going to need a little more air. So that's how that works. So to test this, you put 15 pounds of vacuum on it. There's vacuum gauges you can buy that are fairly inexpensive. You can also use the mouth suck this. It should pull this in close to all the way, and as long as you got vacuum on it, it'll stay there. If it's leaking back, then replace the pull-off. Okay, so let's fast idle. So when it's cold, it gets on the high part of the cam right here. Make sure you can see that. Right here's the high part, so that's where it's at. See, high, low. There's a H and L on this. So this is a fast idle cam. So as it gets warm, this falls down by its own weight because the choke valve is open, and it idles down to idle speed. Now the same screw is used to adjust the idle and the fast idle. So when you're adjusting the idle, make sure it's down all the way, the choke is open. Use your book. It's probably around 500 RPM. And then at fast idle, you just move it to the fast and set it to 1200 RPM, whatever your manual tells you on your particular vehicle. Okay, so that's how the fast idle works. And that's how it's put on there, by the way. Take a good look. Oops, take a good look at it. And that's how it's all put together. Hopefully you took pictures when you took yours apart. So what we're talking about here is, does my choke work? We get this question all the time, and I'm just showing the 68 because it's a little later model, and the choke housing is mounted on the throttle body instead of on the carburetor itself or in the intake manifold, which is intake manifold type. That's a divorced choke, which means it's divorced from the carburetor itself. Alright, so the thermostat right here In this particular one, that little slot fits, or the little tab fits in this slot right here. And when you twist it, that's what opens and closes. Now, there's tension on it when it's cold, and that's what helps hold this closed, okay? And everything's working against that tension. The pull-off is, okay? The throttle works against that tension. When it needs to open, it opens, okay? So when it's warmed up and there's no more tension on it, what opens this is the vacuum from the engine itself, the carburetor, going through the top here. That's what keeps it open. It's not the thermostat. Thermostat will put tension on to keep it closed, but when it gets hot, that thermostat's no longer being used. So it's just the weight of the parts and the suction of the engine is going to keep this choke valve open. All right. Oop, a little rod came out. I think my rebuilder actually made this little rod. I'll find out how he does that. Okay. And there you go. So that's how the choke works on a 68 and later, with the choke housing mounted on the bottom. Thank you for watching, and be sure you get your parts at mikescarb.com. That's MIKESCARB.com. The more parts you buy from us, the more videos we're able to do. Thank you for watching.